Hello, we're less than 2 weeks away from the start of Leagues, and the mods have been blessing us with crumbs of information about new relics and much more. On the 23rd of March, the blog post for League 6 got released, which contained lots of crucial information, but more importantly, this is when the daily Leagues reveals started as well. I'll go through some of the more important reveals, but if you have any questions about something I didn't mention, ask it in the comments and I'll try and answer it. Among the new information in the blog post was that we're starting in Yama's lair with an exit to Civita's Illa Fortis, confirming the suspicion that we will be starting in Varlamore. Inside the lair, we will also have the possibility to train agility from level 1 on the lava rocks, with a bit of a risk factor to it as well. We also know which quests we will have auto-completed, and among this list is Fairy Tale Part 1 and 2 for access to fairy rings. We also start with the Drawman Staff, of course, so early travel will be easy. Then, we also have Rune Mysteries and Druidic Ritual completed, alongside level 3 Herblore and level 5 Runecraft for access to these skills from the start as well. We also have the Moons bosses auto-unlocked from the start, which provides a great area to train and eventually get your first decent armor set from, but also gives access to all the shops inside of Camtorum and the calcified vein mines for early prayer training. And as for the first reveal that happened on the same day, we got to know what all 3 tier 1 relics are going to look like. Let's go through them one by one real quick, then summarize the key differences after. Firstly, we have Endless Harvest, which does exactly what it sounds like. You get to chop, fish, and mine for as long as you stay logged in the same spot you started the action. For mobile and for Runelight, this means 25 minutes of pure AFK, then you need to wiggle your mouse or something to keep yourself from logging out. This will work even at something like a Mithril Rock. Your resources gathered also get sent straight to the bank, and you get double XP from each source, as you get twice the resources with full XP from the bonus resource as well. This is a great option for anyone looking to AFK a bit during work or relax between some grinds, as these skills tend to take a lot of time and usually have a lot of points to be gained from them. Next up, we have Barbarian Gathering, which turns your fists into crystal tier of tools for fishing, mining, and woodcutting, allowing you to punch rocks, rip trees apart, and grab fish right out of the water. You also get a sack to hold materials, as you don't automatically bank them with this relic, but the biggest reasons to pick this other than the crystal tools is that after failing a roll, you get a separate 50% chance not to fail, which is really strong. This allows you to gain much higher XP rates from usually slower methods like cutting yews or fishing for sharks, and you get to complete the tasks related to these skills faster too. On top of this, whenever you get any XP in fishing, mining, or woodcutting, you also get 10% of that XP in agility and strength. This is really good for a head start on melee routes and agility related tasks. This relic is definitely the most popular one so far out of the 3, as it's very efficient and doing less agility is always a win. Finally, we have the 3rd tier 1 relic, Abundance. This relic is definitely the middle child out of the 3 starter relics. Firstly, you get a permanent 10 level boost to your non-combat stats, which is nice for completing tasks and preparing resources like prayer potions earlier than normal. You also have to do less skilling with this boost, but if you plan on getting high levels in most skills, then it's probably not that useful. It might get you some points sooner than other relics, but usually finding tasks to do isn't much of an issue. Then, every time you get an XP drop, you get a bonus 2 XP multiplied by your current XP multiplier in any skill you're training. This is pretty nice for skilling overall, as it tends to make the early game much easier and faster, but tends to fall off in the late game. With this relic, you also get 2 GP for every XP you gain, which is a very nice way to generate additional money early on, but later on you won't be missing this extra GP as much, as you'll be getting loads of alchables from all over the place, and potentially an even better money generating relic at some point, such as Golden God or Fire Sail from previous leagues. Now let's check out how they compare to each other. Enhanced Harvest is really decent XP per hour because of the double XP gain per resource, and it's also super AFK. You really can't go wrong with this one, it's a simple and a safe choice. A lot of the XP rates from this are also better than from Barbarian Gathering, especially in the higher levels, but early on it will definitely feel a lot slower. As I just mentioned, Barbarian Gathering is really good for the early game and has some great methods even into the late game too. Of course, this relic is way less AFK, but you can still do some pretty AFK methods, such as chopping magic trees and fishing sharks, while still getting good XP rates. Then we have Abundance, which I personally don't care for much, but it's definitely the way to go if you want to reach the mid game and bossing really fast and boost past the early game. I bet Solo Mission will pick this relic. But you'll be trading that early boost for late game XP and abilities, so see if that's worth it for you. Personally, I'll probably be going for Barbarian Gathering, as I value the agility and strength XP a lot more, and getting those up while mining for prayer XP at calcified rocks sounds like a strong start. On the 24th, we got revealed one of the tier 8 relics called Minion. You essentially get to summon a buffed thrall with a demonic twist with this relic, where you can feed it 5 Zami items to increase its max hit. It's similar to the Guardian relics of previous leagues if you're familiar with those. It's hard to say how good this is, as we don't know what the other relics in the final tier will look like, but Minion is a serious buff to your DPS and will allow you to do raids by yourself even if you end up having a weak combat style. This time around, the Minion will also collect drops for you as well, which is a nice quality of life, but it isn't going to be the deciding factor for picking this relic as your final one, that's for sure. Overall, it's a really strong DPS boost, but a little mundane in terms of gameplay if you ask me. I'm hopeful for a better or at least a more exciting tier 8. The following day, on the 25th, we got shown one of the tier 6 relics, Culling Spree. This relic is a reworked version of previous Slayer relics, where you now get to pick between only 3 Slayer tasks presented to you. You also get to pick the quantity between 5 and 200. The previous version of this relic was broken and made the Slayer helmet work on everything in the game, including raids. This version is much different. You get the perks of wearing a Slayer helmet only when on task, but you don't have to be wearing one. Which means that if you get a blue dragon task, you can be killing Vorkath and Void with a salve, while still getting the Slayer helmet bonus. This of course is nowhere near as strong as it was before, unfortunately. Instead, you get 2 times the amount of superiors, which is nice. This comes from the 50% chance of spawning a new one each time you kill one. You will also get on average 2 elite clues per superior killed, which could be a really strong way of stacking up elite clues if you don't end up taking the clue scroll relic. This relic can be pretty decent, but it does feel pretty lacking for a tier 6 in my opinion. Past leagues, the Slayer relic went up against Farming relic and the clue scroll relic, so we'll just have to wait and see how good those are in comparison, or to see what else they come up with for this tier. On the 26th, we got another relic revealed, this time a tier 3 teleport relic called Evil Eye. Evil Eye is pretty interesting, as not only do you get to teleport to bosses, which can save you lots of time, like at Doom or Phasanis for example, but you can also teleport to each individual moon boss, and both inside and outside of barrows. I can see this being a really nice pick to start your bossing journey, and it has a nice tele to Huey which has a bank right next to it. But the real question is, what will it go up against in the same tier? If it's different teleportation relics like the older Last Recall or Fairy's Flight, it might not have as much utility as some of those. Doing runecrafting for example without Last Recall is not very fun, and if there's a lot of clue related tasks, the clue compass is very strong as those locations are usually pretty remote. The next day was the first day we started receiving 2 reveals per day. The first reveal was the tier 2 Woodsman Relic, which is sort of a combination of a couple previously used relics. You get to process whole inventories for fletching, and get 10 times boosted amounts on stackable items such as broad arrows. You can also automatically burn logs that you chop, giving full XP. This gets combined with Hunter, where you never fail traps and attract animals faster, and you get double the loot and experience from them. Hunting chins is very beneficial with this relic and is a great way to get your ranged up if you have an area unlocked where you can use them. On top of this, Hunter Rumors and Implings get buffed by giving double the loot, and Rumors also give double the XP. You also get unlimited uses on Quetzal Whistles too, which can be nice for early game travel. Overall, it's a pretty decent relic for tier 2 and opens up a bunch of starting paths with Hunter, such as getting Prayer from Hunter Rumor loot sacks. I can see the mining equivalent relic in this tier having similar bonuses for smithing and crafting though. Then, we got revealed the first Echo boss of the league on the same day, a Moxliaddle. We don't know anything about this boss yet, other than 2 blacked out weapons the player is wielding in his hands in the image. These are assumed to be the Echo items from the boss, but what effects they will have is not known yet. This boss will be accessible to everyone as it's located in the starter region and probably will be your first boss encounter of the entire league, so I'm assuming the weapons will set you up for farming the Moon's bosses to get your first big item sets from there. If this is your first time encountering an Echo boss, essentially you gain access to it by killing the regular version of the boss first, and then you get to fight a stronger version with new mechanics that drops a strong and unique item. As for what to kill the boss with, the obvious answer is the Glacial Tumultles, but there are only 11 spawns of Frost Nagua per world, so it might be a bit too overcrowded and something like a Dragon Longsword from Zenaris might be easier to get. On the 28th, the first reveal was another relic, a clue scroll relic called Conniving Clues at only tier 4 this time around. This relic gives you the chance at getting a new thing called Clue Contracts, which are a consumable teleport that teleports you right to your next clue step location. Any clue higher than medium will profit these contracts on average, but of course it is possible to get unlucky as well. You also get a chance at getting the same tier of clue again from the reward casket of each one you solve, and the higher chance at getting clues from skilling and PVM in general. Compared to the last clue relic of the Trailblazer Reloaded League, this seems to be much weaker, but we can also expect to see less clue related tasks this time around as well. As previous leagues, there was a huge amount of points behind solving clues, and I think they got toned down a little bit this time. I would say this is still a pretty decent tier 4 relic though, and might be worth picking it, especially if you don't end up going for the Slayer relic, which will give you elite clues from the superiors. The same day, we also got revealed another Echo boss. This time around it wasn't anything new though, and we know that we are getting Echo Thermi back in Kandarin with 2 unique drops this time. The Devil's Element from last time around, and an unknown 4-pronged trident. As long as we don't see the Occult and Zenites being replaced in a different region like last time, Kandarin is shaping up to be a really decent pick for magic builds. As for the final day of the first week of reveals, we were given another relic and Echo boss combo. The relic of the day is called the Flask of Fervor. This is the second tier 8 relic we've had so far, so at least we have something to compare it to. The relic grants you a flask, which restores all of your combat stats and special energy when activated. When using it, you also deal massive AoE damage around you based on your prayer level, and become immune during this time for 2.4 seconds. The flask has a base cooldown of 3 minutes, which speeds up the more damage you deal during that time. Compared to the Minion relic, this one seems way more fun to play with, but as for the damage output, the Minion deals vastly more damage than the Flask, even with really good damage output to reduce the cooldown. The Flask can definitely save you as long as you know what you're doing, but you're definitely not getting a free cheat death like last league's in case you mess up somewhere. Then, we also had the Echo boss reveal of the day, which was Hespori. Hespori was the same Echo boss in the Kurend region last time, but this time around it offers a different weapon, a short bow, which has the ability to heal you and restore your prayer. Nothing else was said about this weapon unfortunately, so we'll have to see if it's something worth picking Kurend for, as there isn't much else you can gain from that region for ranged, other than Rigor, since you can get a twisted bow from any raid. I'm hopeful the third tier 8 will be better than this one, but between the two, Minion seems to be the clear choice, even though the Flask seems more fun to use. Perhaps later on some methods will be discovered where the Flask is really good, like if they add the Thunder Kopesh back. That was all the reveals we had for this first week. If you want to find out more specific details about some topics that may have already been answered, I would suggest checking out the frequently asked questions section on the blog post. I will be doing a similar video for the week of reveals coming up as well, so if you like this one, stay tuned for more. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.